Is there trouble in paradise and the Bieber marriage is falling apart? While Hailey is defending her marriage day and night on Instagram and addressing rumors to a point she appears bothered and jobless. Justin is busy commenting hard eyes on Madison Beer's Instagram post. Mind you, Justin never comments or likes her own wife's posts, but he has time to do this. What do you think? Is Hailey okay with it or will take Justin's phone away?
Congratulations on your American Music Award, Justin. You the man. Justin's kind of hard to keep up with, isn't it?
Welcome back to Clout Therapy, where we dig into Hollywood's messiest tea. And today's story? It all started with a single Instagram comment from Justin Bieber. Sounds harmless, right? Wrong. That one emoji has reignited years of old rumors, dragged Madison Beer's name back into the mix, and sparked a whole new wave of questions about where Hailey really stands in all of this. Yes, it's that messy. From shady fan theories to deja vu love triangle drama, this comment might be the smallest thing Justin's ever posted, but it could also be the loudest. So let's break down what he said, why the internet is spiraling, and what it means for Justin, Madison, and Hailey. If you live for the drama, hit subscribe, because this is Clout Therapy. So let's break this down, because the whole drama really starts with Madison's Instagram. Back in June, she posted a set of photos. Nothing wild, just her usual vibe. Cute outfit, a little glam, the kind of polished content Madison Beer is known for. She's one of those girls who can post literally anything, and it instantly looks like a campaign. Fans liked it, moved on, end of story. Or at least, that's what we thought. Then, weeks later, and I mean weeks, July 16th rolls around and suddenly Justin Bieber shows up in the comments. He doesn't leave a long message, no song lyrics, nothing deep. Just one word, diabolical. And to make it extra weird, he adds emojis. Now, depending on how you read it, that could mean, you look wicked hot, or this is dangerously good. Either way, it stood out. Because why is Justin, a married man, circling back to Madison's old post to drop that kind of comment? The reaction was instant chaos. Half of the internet brushed it off like, relax, he's just being playful. They've been friends forever. It's harmless. But the other half? Not so forgiving. They called it creepy. They said it crossed a line. And more importantly, they questioned why he would even engage like that when every little move of his is magnified 1,000 times over. And here's the real kicker, the timing. This wasn't him liking a fresh post. Caught up in the moment, he went back an entire month to dig this up. That made it feel less like a random slip and more like a choice, like he wanted it seen. Fans started saying, okay, if he did this after a month, was he scrolling Madison's page? Was he watching her posts that closely? And that's when the whispers started. About history, about old rumors, about whether Justin still has Madison on his mind. So on its own, diabolical might sound like just a funny little comment, but when you factor in the delay, the emojis, and the history between these names, it's not just a word anymore. It's a spark. And you know how the internet works? One spark, and suddenly everybody's talking about fire. All right, let's rewind the clock, because to really understand why this comment blew up, you need the origin story. Madison Beer wasn't just some random girl who popped up on the internet. She was discovered. 13 years old, posting YouTube covers from her bedroom, just a kid chasing a dream. And out of nowhere, Justin Bieber notices her. He tweets her out, tells his fans to check her out, and just like that, her life changes overnight. Millions of people suddenly know her name. And in a way, it mirrored Justin's own story. Remember, Usher took Justin under his wing when he was just a kid, so people started calling it full circle. Usher discovered Bieber, and now Bieber was discovering Madison. But here's where things started getting complicated. Was it a mentor-protege relationship? Or was it something with blurred lines? Because Madison was so young and Justin was already a superstar, fans never stopped questioning the dynamic. Madison herself has always said Justin was like a mentor, that he looked out for her, gave her advice, supported her career. And on the surface, that sounds great. An industry giant giving a young talent a platform. But the internet? The internet never let it go. They remembered she was 13. They remembered how impressionable that age is. And they remembered how Justin's involvement, even if innocent, could still look questionable from the outside. That's why every new interaction between them gets so much attention. The history makes people hyper-aware. It's not just Justin left a comment. It's Justin left a comment on the girl he discovered when she was barely a teenager. And suddenly, the whole thing feels heavier, loaded with years of speculation and suspicion. So when he types diabolical in 2023, people don't just see a word. They see a pattern. They see a history that started when Madison was just a kid. And that's why the internet can't stop asking, was he really just being a mentor back then? Or has it always been something fans were right to side-eye? Now here's where things get even juicier, because Justin and Madison's history isn't just about that first discovery moment. Over the years, he's left what fans call breadcrumbs, little moments on social media that keep the rumors alive, like the birthday shoutouts. Simple enough, but Justin adding heart emojis? That didn't feel like just a mentor move to some people. Then there were the studio photos, back when Madison was still really young, smiling next to Justin like she had officially made it into his world. And of course, the paparazzi shots. The two of them laughing together in public, grabbing food, acting way more casual than people expected. Each one of those moments on its own could seem innocent, even normal in celebrity circles. But fans didn't see them as random. They turned every like, every emoji, every smile into proof. Proof of chemistry, proof of tension, proof of something more. And once people start dissecting that kind of pattern, it becomes impossible to convince them it's just friendship. That's why today, one little diabolical comment feels like part of a bigger trail. A breadcrumb Justin has been dropping for years, whether he means to or not. And now we have to talk about the person who ends up in the crossfire every single time, Hailey Bieber. From the moment she married Justin, her relationship has been under a microscope. Fans never really gave her a clean slate. Instead, they constantly compare her to Selena Gomez. Every outfit gets put side by side, every hairstyle, every caption. People are always trying to paint her as the replacement, like she's competing with Justin's past instead of just living her marriage. And just when that noise finally starts to calm down, here comes another wave, because Madison Beer's name keeps finding its way into the picture. Think about the cycle Hailey has to live in. One day it's Selena trending, the next it's Madison, and both of them are tied to Justin, whether fairly or not. So when Justin leaves that diabolical comment on Madison's post, it doesn't just live on Madison's page. It instantly bleeds into Hailey's world. Suddenly, people are posting side-by-sides again, bringing up old photos, spinning theories about who Justin really wants to be with. And once that narrative takes off online, Hailey gets dragged right back into a conversation she never asked for. And here's the hard truth. Even if Justin is being totally harmless, even if nothing shady is actually happening, the perception becomes its own problem. Because in celebrity culture, perception is reality. Headlines don't say innocent joke. They say Justin Bieber leaves suspicious comment. And now, Hailey's left to deal with the fallout. She looks like she's constantly defending her marriage, constantly battling ghosts. First Selena, now Madison, and maybe whoever comes next. So the real question becomes this: how much pressure does that put on their relationship behind closed doors? How do you build a normal marriage when the entire internet is dissecting every emoji, every glance, every interaction? At some point, even if there's no truth to the rumors, the constant noise has to start eating away at the peace inside the relationship. And that's why one comment, one word, one emoji from Justin isn't just about Madison Beer. It's about the storm Hailey Bieber is forced to weather every single time. Here's where things take a darker turn, because Justin Bieber's history with much younger women has always been a point of controversy. Fans remember it all too well. Take Sofia Richie, for example. She was only 17 when she dated Justin, who was already in his 20s. People called it out instantly, saying it looked predatory, saying it crossed a line, and that relationship put Justin under a massive microscope. It wasn't just gossip, it became part of his reputation. And then, when you add Madison Beer into that timeline, the conversation gets even more uncomfortable because the rumors never stopped swirling. Paparazzi photos from when she was just 14 or 15 showed Justin looking a little too affectionate, a little too cozy, and fans haven't forgotten those images. Maybe they were innocent. Maybe it really was a mentor looking out for a rising star. But once people saw those moments, they couldn't unsee them. They attached that context to every interaction that came after. And that's the problem with Hollywood. It's infamous for blurred boundaries between powerful stars and young talent just breaking into the industry. We've seen it time and time again. Older celebrities positioning themselves as mentors, promising protection and guidance, while outsiders can't help but wonder if there's something more happening behind the scenes. And when it comes to Justin and Madison, the timeline is what makes people uneasy. She was just a teenager when he brought her into his world. She called him a mentor, and he positioned himself that way too, but fans kept side-eyeing it because mentorship is one thing. But commenting on her looks, hanging out in ways that felt more personal than professional, that's where it starts to blur. And here's the truth. Even if Justin's intentions were completely innocent, even if nothing inappropriate ever happened, the optics still matter. They matter in Hollywood, they matter in music, and they especially matter to fans who've been following him since day one. Fans remember. They remember Sofia Richie at 17. They remember those affectionate photos with Madison. They remember every rumor. So when Justin leaves a diabolical comment in 2023, it's not just a playful emoji to them. It's another red flag in a history full of them. And that's why this tiny word hits so much harder than it should, because the past is always part of the story. Now let's zoom out, because the bigger picture here is just as messy. Madison Beer's career didn't exactly go the way people thought it would after Justin discovered her. When he tweeted her out at 13, everyone expected her to be the next megastar, the next Justin Bieber, but in female form. That didn't happen. She got signed to a label, sure, but then she was dropped. The early hype around her name fizzled, and she had to start over, rebuilding her career brick by brick without the safety net people assumed Justin's cosign would guarantee. She's been grinding for years, making music, cultivating her own fan base, but it hasn't been Bieber-level fame. She carved her own lane, but it wasn't the one he paved for her. And that's where fans start raising eyebrows again, because it almost feels like Justin still thinks she owes him something. Like he gave her this platform years ago, so now she's supposed to return the favor. There have been whispers that he wants her to support his music, boost his projects, give him that public stamp of approval that only she can. But here's the million-dollar question. Does Madison Beer actually owe him anything at all? He gave her an opportunity when she was 13, yes, but she's the one who had to survive being dropped. She's the one who had to rebuild when the industry turned its back. She's the one carrying her career today. So when Justin leaves comments like diabolical, it almost feels like an attempt to pull her back into his orbit, to remind people of their history, to keep her name tied to his. But why? Is it just nostalgia? Is it ego? Or is it that Justin, deep down, doesn't want to let go of the role he once played in shaping her? Fans are left asking if this is really about friendship and mentorship, or if it's about a superstar who still feels entitled to the girl he discovered a decade ago. And that's the bigger picture. This isn't just about an emoji. It's about power, history, and the messy expectations that never really die in Hollywood. Here's where the conversation gets really complicated, because some fans argue that Justin's blurred boundaries might actually come from his own past. He wasn't just discovered young, he was 12 years old, hanging around Diddy, being introduced to powerful adults in the industry. Rumors have always floated that Justin was exposed to situations no child should ever be in, things that could have shaped how he views relationships and boundaries today. And that's why some people believe he repeats these questionable patterns, not because he doesn't know better, but because he was conditioned in an environment that never taught him what healthy actually looks like. But here's the flip side. Trauma might explain behavior, but it doesn't excuse it. A lot of fans are clear on this. Justin is grown now. He's married. He knows how the public sees him. And at some point, accountability has to matter more than sympathy. And this is the truth about why the drama never dies. That one Instagram comment instantly became fuel for years of old rumors. Even if it was just a playful word, even if it was meant as nothing, fans don't see it in isolation. They see it as part of a chain. Every like, every emoji, every smile, adding up to what they call proof. That's the power of the internet. Once a label sticks, every new moment gets added to the case. It doesn't even matter what the reality is anymore. Perception becomes the story. And when the story is that Justin Bieber has blurred boundaries with Madison Beer, well, then even the smallest diabolical comment feels like evidence. So here we are. One tiny Instagram comment turned into a full-on storm because of history, timing, and how the internet never forgets. The real question is, was Justin just being playful? Or is there something deeper here that fans can't ignore? What do you think? Is this an innocent mentor bond or something else entirely? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to hit subscribe for weekly Hollywood deep dives right here on Clout Therapy.